Part 4. Turntables. The fourth robbery began with a feeling no one said out loud. Something was wrong. The branch sat in a commercial pocket. Part 4. Turntables. The fourth robbery began with a feeling no one said out loud. Something was wrong. The branch sat in a commercial pocket bordered by a service alley, a fence lot, and a side street that emptied quickly onto the arterial roads. On paper, it was ideal. Manageable traffic, predictable staffing, strong vault cycle, clean exit lanes. It had been fed to them as a near-perfect opportunity, and Darius had taken it despite the unease coiling beneath his ribs. Inside the bank, fluorescent lights hummed softly over polished counters and potted plants no one watered enough. A teller named Sandra Bell saw the first masked face and knew, before any gun lifted, that she was looking at the thing the whole city had been dreading. Her hand slid beneath the counter. She found the hidden trigger. Pressed. Then pain tore through the lobby as the room exploded into motion. The crew took control, but not smoothly enough. Not this time. Fear had grown smarter in people. Sandra had beaten the first wave of terror by less than a second, and that second changed everything. Darius felt it the way a seasoned captain feels a crack in the hull before the crew hears the water. Short cycle, he snapped. Numbers looked up sharply. Already? Move. The vault opened. Bags filled. Commands came faster. The room was still theirs, but only just. Time had shrunk around them. Then came the distant shriek of sirens. Too soon. Every head in the crew turned toward the sound. Isaiah cursed. Willman went pale beneath his mask. Ghost's eyes narrowed to slits. Darius did not raise his voice, but the steel in it cut through the rising panic. Back exit. Now. The first patrol units boxed the front almost as the crew split. 4 men drove toward the rear corridor and loading door. 2 remained in the front lobby, trapped between shattered glass and flashing red-blue reflections strobing across the wet street. The gunfire outside came hard and deafening, chewing brick, windows, patrol doors, air. Officers shouted. Civilians screamed and ran. The bank became a furnace of sound. At the rear, Willman had the escape vehicle positioned where it was supposed to be. 4 men hit it at a dead run and vanished into the alley network before the perimeter sealed completely. It was dirty, rushed, far from flawless, but it worked. At the front, the other 2 never really had a chance. 1 died in the opening exchange, thrown backward into broken glass. The second stumbled out wounded, guns skidding across wet pavement before officers swarmed him. By the time they got him cuffed, blood slicked his pant leg and rage had drained into something uglier, fear. His name was Marcus Bennett. Locke. At headquarters, Marcus Hale became the face of triumph almost instantly. Reporters shouted questions as he passed. Captain Reeves called it a breakthrough. The commissioner wanted cameras. The city wanted reassurance. Hale wanted Locke alone. The interrogation room smelled of antiseptic, sweat, and wet fabric. Locke sat with one side of his face swelling, his injured leg bandaged, his wrists shackled to a steel ring. He looked less like a legend now than a tired man who had discovered too late that legends die like anybody else. Ruiz stood behind the glass while Hale went in. You left 2 bodies on the floor and got abandoned, Hale said. Locke spat blood into his cheek. Didn't get abandoned. No? Hale leaned in. Then why are you here and they're not? Locke glared at him, but the glare wavered. Pain had a way of loosening loyalty. So did the dawning realization that Darius Kane would keep moving with or without him. Hale worked him slowly, not like a man desperate for answers but like a man already certain where the cracks were. He pushed on betrayal, on survival, on the difference between dying for a crew and being discarded by one. Locke resisted, then bent, then broke just enough. He offered them a final target. A bank where a newly hired manager could make access easier. A vault heavy enough to promise one last life-changing score. A setup so irresistible it would override caution. Ruiz didn't like it. Too neat, she said once Hale came out. He buttoned his coat calmly. That's because it's real. Or because he had helped make it real. The trap went up fast. Plainclothes officers, tactical teams, interior staging, perimeter layers. Every corridor of the target branch became part of a net waiting to be drawn tight. At the safe house, Darius listened to Locke's message relayed through the approved channel. The voice sounded ragged, believable. Loyal enough. That almost made it worse. Ghost shook his head. I don't trust wounded men, Numbers said. I don't trust perfect chances. Wheelman said nothing at all. Isaiah smiled the way some men smile at the edge of a cliff. We either end this rich or die interesting. Darius looked at each of them and felt, perhaps for the first time, that the machine he had built was no longer obeying him completely. Suspicion had entered the gears. Fatigue had entered the blood. Fate, or whatever men call the moment consequences catch up, was standing closer than before. Still, he nodded once. We go. That was all. Part 4 ends with Locke being escorted back to holding. As he passes the corridor window, he catches a glimpse of Hale standing under fluorescent light, straight-backed and still. For one long second Locke stares at him as a thought begins to form, one impossible, sickening thought he cannot yet prove. Hale doesn't look away. Locke whispers to himself, "Who are you?" And for the first time, the answer feels near enough to touch.